Welcome back to another episode of the Unstuck Career Podcast. I have with me Jen. Jen is one of those brave people who said, "Yeah, I'll talk to you." So, welcome, Jen. Thanks for being courageous.
Thank you for having me.
So, we started talking a couple of minutes ago, so I don't know a lot about your story yet. You did tell me a little bit, but so let's talk about what, first of all, important stuff. You're from Southern California, which is not too bad. Are you close to the beach?
I am. I'm about 10 minutes away driving wise.
Oh, nice.
hmm
That's I grew up in the Bay Area, and I was
Nice.
an hour from the beach, but um, Indiana, I'm nowhere near a beach right now. So do you get to the ocean very often?
I try to. I would probably say maybe a few times a month I'm able to go.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So good. Well, let's talk about what's going on. When I've done this a couple times where I've had people who are in the middle of the life happens. And so every once in a while, I think it would be interesting to have not just people that have stepped out of their tough, toxic, frustrating situation into something better. Um, but I think it's fun to talk to people who are in the middle of it. So that's where this all started. And so let's talk about what's going on. What's happening, Jen?
Well, I've been pretty deeply embedded in my field of marine biology for about 18, 19 years, and the current place institution that I work at, I've been there for about 7 years.
Okay.
And I think what's been really great about that institution is the fact that I've had a chance to learn and grow in a lot of different ways. I've always been more of I'm still an independent worker, but all of my previous positions have been very independent. I may
Mm,
have had like one other colleague, but that's about it. And the current place that I work at, I'm actually a supervisor, so I manage a handful of direct reports and I mentor folks as well. And so it's a very different dynamic.
mm,
And so throughout that process, I've learned it's taken me a few years to really kind of know what kind of supervisor I am. What
right.
is my leadership style? Because it's very different. I'm realizing with people versus without. And I'm sure we're a blend of many different leadership styles.
Sure.
But something that's come to light within the past few years is that my leadership style and my beliefs and values are very different than the rest of the leaders within my department. And so throughout these few years, I've realized that I just don't think it's really kind of working out for me.
Mhm.
They're wonderful people, nothing wrong with having different views and beliefs and whatnot and values, but it just doesn't really quite resonate with my style. And so during those years in which I've come to realize that, I've been trying to find a new job because I'm also a new mom as well
Okay.
of a three and a half
Congratulations.
year old. Yeah, thank you. And so with that, it's just been really tricky to balance everything, to really kind of figure out, okay, well, if I really want a new job, but within my field, I'm very limited. Being of marine biology background, it's like you're kind of tied to. We're not always tied to the beach. There are
Mhm.
aquariums and such everywhere, um, but I'm tied to certain areas and certain institutions around me, and um, it's just been really difficult to find anything that truly resonates with either my skill set or where I would like to take the next steps.
Mhm.
And I definitely had a list, or I do have a list of like what, really works and also things that really hasn't over the few years. And
Yeah.
so I've come to terms with everything. And I think with the jobs not really being there anymore within my field due to lack of funding, um, and my field becoming more competitive because there has been so many layoffs within
Mm.
um, the industry. through a lot of other ways, it's been really tricky to find a new job, especially within the parameters of being a new mom and my husband also starting a new job as an electrician.
Okay.
I really have to kind of reprioritize my life, and it's really helped me look inward to kind of feel like, okay, what are my true priorities? How do I redefine success, and what does that look like? So
Right.
that's why I'm kind of mid-pivot.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what when you talk about redefining success, tell me what that looks like for you.
So, ever since I was 7 years old, I knew I wanted to be a marine biologist. I was like, yes, marine biology. In seventh grade, I figured, oh, I definitely want to focus on harmful algal blooms. Like, that was my passion. Like, let's go algae. And so, with that, what's always been defining success is like, will I get to study under the people and work with the people that, kind of really define that field? Can I work for Washington Sea Grant? Can I go on ahead and work for these particular entities to really kind of help me feel like I've reached it, I've accomplished it? And so throughout my career, I have actually been able to reach those goals. I've worked with like 75% of all the top scientists that I've wanted to within the field, at least within North America. And
Uh-huh.
so it's just been really kind of fulfilling that I've been able to put all this work in and work with the people that I've only dreamt of working with. And so for me, that's always been kind of the measure of success, like I'm working with the top scientists in the field. I am living my dream that I've always wanted since I was like 7 years old. And so that's always been success.
Mhm.
And then ever since I actually achieved that goal, I realized in my quote unquote dream job, it ended up not really kind of being fulfilling, not really being the job that I wanted it to be, that I needed it to be. And there were parts that were missing, but I was fairly young in my career to where I couldn't really pinpoint what exactly it was.
Uh-huh.
And so at that point in time, my husband also moved up to be with me for graduate school. And so it was his time to find a new place to move because I told him, hey, you moved up for me. Now it's my turn. Like, whenever you want to move, we'll do it. I'll find a new
Right.
job. We'll figure it out. So during my time of like my perfect job, it just I couldn't put the finger on it, didn't work out. And so he was like, "Well, I really want to be closer to family." So we said, "Okay." And so he got an opportunity in the Bay Area actually. And
Nice.
so I we ended up moving there, and I had a different job in the museum world,
Uh-huh.
which I thought was really interesting. It allowed me to kind of pursue these others like, well, this is kind of interesting. Let's see what that looks like, which led me into deep sea research and doing a fellowship for deep sea exploration, which was pretty incredible. But I was still trying to figure out what does success look like now? And honestly, I think after finding my dream job, I really struggled with that. So I think
Mm.
I've been struggling within the past 5 years, no, 8 years. My gosh, time has passed.
Wow.
To
Yeah.
really kind of figure out, like what exactly does success look like? What am I really kind of looking for? And so throughout that time, I've just been, adding to my different chapters of my story to be like, hey, these are new skill sets. These are, new things, new connections that I can make, and really kind of figure out what is it that I'm really kind of passionate about since I lost my direction that I've had since I was 7.
Right.
Um, and I kind of floundered, but I think the struggle that I'm currently going through with my job has really allowed me to have the time to really kind of look inwardly and see, okay, what are all of my passions I've had throughout time, and how I really kind of want to move forward with that. So now success looks like, okay, I want autonomy as a new mom
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
and figuring out a new schedule. I am looking for um, other areas that I want to grow in. So as a mom, I feel like I've lost a little bit of understanding myself and my needs and my wants. And so really kind of living a more balanced life and having a more balanced approach, I feel like is another way that I can kind of define success. And just kind of invest in myself and do things on my own terms.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, that really kind of defines success now.
So you're still in that kind of mid pivot trying to figure out what the next step is?
So I have an idea of what that
Okay.
next step is, and I'm actually slowly working towards it. I'm going to be uh, I'm opening a business. So I'm
Nice.
opening up a Rice Krispie business,
I
and I'm
love
going to
it.
be mainly selling at farmers markets.
Okay.
Um, yeah, a very different pivot, but also when I was younger, I mean, all throughout my life, I've always loved food. And not to just kind of pivot into whatever you love, you kind of go into, but I think one of the common factors between what I do now, which is mainly focused on these past 7 years, I've focused on marine education outreach, so reaching communities that can't necessarily come to the aquarium that I work at. And it is really kind of about that sense of community.
Hmm.
And I enjoy being out in the community, engaged with the community. Tabling events have always been my all-time favorite thing, even though I coordinate and I run a variety of outreach programs. And so, what I think is nice about the whole Rice Krispie business is one, Rice Krispies are fairly low stakes, and my jobs have always been really high pressure.
Uh-huh.
And so, I'm looking for something that's a little bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted, something that still brings joy to people,
Sure.
which I think, Rice Krispie just kind of always does.
Yes.
But what my main goal is to really kind of be a part of the community.
Yeah.
I do feel like that's one thing that I've always missed and I've wanted is even though my job and my role is always community centric, I've
Uh-huh.
always lived at least an hour away from my job. And so there's still this disconnect that even though I'm bringing wonderful things to a community, it doesn't feel like my community. And
Right.
so now I get to really kind of focus on bringing and being a part of my community and bringing something joyful, something fun, something delicious to them. So I think it kind of matches a lot of what I've enjoyed in a lot of different jobs to really kind of where I want to move forward.
Yeah. So how far have you gotten on the Rice Krispie business? Is it at the idea stage? Have you actually started selling to markets or where are you on that?
I haven't started selling in the markets. I'm in the test phase right now.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of going through all the paperwork and getting all the back end stuff done and yeah, sending out Krispies to friends.
Nice. Do you have specialty recipes that you have created or that you followed or what does that look like?
Yes, I do. So, of course, I have the original Rice Krispie, which is always delicious.
Sure.
But one of my all-time favorites is actually it's kind of like pumpkin spiced. So it's the spices of the pumpkin pie,
Uh-huh.
brown butter Rice Krispie treat.
Ooh.
And so that one is just really kind of speaks to me, I feel.
Uh-huh.
It's just nice and nutty and buttery, and it has a little bit of spice to it. And it's just kind of warm. It's very much kind of like a hug,
Uh-huh.
I feel, as I kind of eat that. And then, of course, a more traditional cookies and cream variety. And right now I'm playing with a black sesame variety too.
Ooh, interesting.
Mhm.
So what is it about Rice Krispies that has been that's drawn you in?
It's simple. I think it's a really nice, it's simple, but it's not that simple, right? Like I think it takes a skill to really kind of make a really good Rice Krispie. And at least like what a Rice Krispie that I envision that speaks to me is something that is like crispy and slightly gooey, but not too sweet, but really has that nice elements of like chew and pull. And so it's just a really nice contrast set of elements that really kind of draws me in and gets me really excited. But it's also kind of like a blank canvas. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited to do more future flavors. I like to do some seasonal ones. So I'm thinking, like Thai tea, or I could do like a creamsicle with orange zest. I mean, I just think there's like so much
Oh yeah.
potential that's out there and so many fun different twists that I can make with a treat that I don't necessarily have to make super sweet.
Yeah. So where are you in so you're still working at the aquarium, is that right?
Mhm. Correct.
And but it's not your leadership style not really compatible. So
Hmm.
that's been part of your frustration. Um, and you're still commuting an hour?
I am each
Fun.
way.
And you're living close to are you living close to where your husband works or
He is an electrician, and so he's part of the electricians union. And so
okay.
he actually gets dispatched wherever the work
Okay.
is. So it's somewhere within our county. Yeah.
Okay. So have you moved to the Bay Area or is that something that
We did. Yeah, we moved
okay.
to the Bay Area and we lived there for about 2.5 years. And so during that time, the job, so he was actually a marine biologist as well,
Okay.
but it just didn't end up panning out. There were false promises. And so
Mhm.
he actually pivoted much early on and went the handyman route.
Okay.
And then while I was working at the museum, I focused more on just general STEM education.
Uh-huh.
And then I was able to also do like a side of marine biology because I was able to work with a marine biology uh, education forward department within, and then I was able to do field studies. But my supervisor at that place really knew that I kind of missed more of the marine biology aspect, and so when I proposed to her, hey, there's this deep sea exploration opportunity.
Yeah.
This is the ways that's going to benefit, the museum. Can I? And she's like, yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
nice.
So very supportive in that environment.
It's
They were
fantastic.
wonderful.
So, so you've got some really good, I think, awareness about what you love. It's interesting that this is a dream that you've had since you're 7.
Hmm.
And have you felt like it's kind of throwing you off when you see that the future isn't exactly what you kind of envisioned? You mentioned, for example, that once you achieved the things, it was kind of anticlimactic, that it's not as fulfilling as what you expected. So has that been kind of a surprise?
Yes, it definitely has been. I thought I would be this in, the field of marine biology until I retired. But I am pretty good at being flexible and pivoting and really kind of staying true to who I am. And so just really kind of listening to myself and realizing, you know what, this just really isn't the time. There's
Yeah.
no opportunities that are available. And I think it's just been a really serendipitous time because my therapist that I've been talking to really try to understand exactly what's going on and why I'm feeling so unfulfilled even in my current role, has really helped me to realize like I just need to move on,
Right.
my values, my beliefs. I need to figure something out. And so I actually happened to hear your podcast at the same time where you're like, you know what? Your industry doesn't necessarily always have to, like, your industry wants to keep you in there, but there's other ways to be happy.
Right.
And so with that really resonated with me, and it really made me realize how much I am holding myself back because I've been looking, like I said, for jobs for several years now, and nothing's panned out. There hasn't
Okay.
been a single thing that's truly resonated with my passions and or really kind of my interests. And so it's just been really difficult. I've tried to branch out and apply for different kinds of positions, but it still doesn't quite feel right. And I'm not the
Yeah.
type of person to accept a job unless I truly am, like, I can see myself in it and I can really
Yeah.
kind of dedicate myself to it. And so I think this whole Rice Krispie pivot has been something that I've been thinking about for at least a decade or so, just kind of daydreaming about like, oh, it'd be so fun to be at a farmer's market. And I love food. My growing up, my dad and we'd always cook together.
Uh-huh.
We'd have food projects when we'd spend time at home. My mom would be at work and my dad took early retirement. And so he and we'd make like puff pastry from scratch for the
Oh,
day,
fun.
or, like go to a farmer's market, find the best fruit and make an ice cream together. So there are a
Yeah.
lot of like really good fond memories that are around food for me. And it's been something that I've been able to include within my work colleagues. I'm everywhere I've worked, we've all been very food centric. And so it's just a way that we show another way we communicate, another way that we show our care for one another. And
Yeah.
so I would love to pursue this and really kind of see, how does that look like? How can I utilize all of the things that I am currently craving and wanting, and defining as success and put that all into one and just really give it a shot.
Yeah. So I'm gonna step back just for a minute. You've answered part of this question, but I'm gonna ask it again,
Sure.
because um, I think it's valuable. So first of all, welcome to the podcast. You can be that person for somebody else too. But um, when you talk about the job that you thought would be your dream life,
Mhm.
not being fulfilling, what I'm gonna ask the question a little bit differently. If you were in a role and maybe it's Rice Krispie, maybe it's something plus or minus a little bit. If you were in a role that was just completely fulfilling, what would be different? And I'm not necessarily looking at job title or function, but what would be different if you if if you were completely fulfilled with your career?
Hmm. I I don't I don't know what would look really different. I don't know if I'm fully understanding your question, I would have to say.
Yeah. So let me, I'll narrow it down a little bit. Sometimes I ask questions that are intentionally vague because they can go anywhere, and then we'll just go with whatever comes up. So if what I heard you say is that you had this dream life, dream career since age 7, and now that you're in it, and especially the last 7, 8 years, you're seeing this is just not, it's not my place. It's not my, for maybe it's a fit, maybe it's a function, maybe it's whatever this that is. What would be if you were completely fulfilled making Rice Krispies or whatever it is? What would what would that look like?
Okay. For me, it'd probably being out and about in nature. So for
Okay.
me, it would look like I would be because I focus, like I said, a lot on like the smaller organisms, and
Hmm.
so one of the things that I loved was just driving out to a beach, a random dock, and grabbing a water sample and just really kind of enjoying the field work. And so, as many professionals, as you kind of move up, you are more removed from that field work. So
Right.
I think, returning to that field work is really lovely. So you get some outdoors time, you get a little, nature inspiration and really kind of it would take me back to my roots of really knowing like, yes, this is why I do this. This is why I want to do this. Another thing that would be absolutely perfect is if I could be more in the community. I think that was
Okay.
one thing that I loved about the dream job that I had is that I was part of the community. I was a resource to the community.
Right.
And so, if they're like, hey, Jen, my water's orange near my house. I don't know why,
Yeah.
then I would drive over there. I would get to know them a little bit. I would take that orange water. Um, I would tell them my hypothesis of what it probably is because there's seasonal changes that tend to happen in the water. And then I would report back, and then, sometimes relationships build from that, sometimes they don't. But the goal
Sure.
is that I'm always a resource to the community. They can always come to me if they ever have any questions that they might have, any things that they want to kind of, understand a little bit better when it comes to the waters that they live in and around. I was also working in the aquaculture industry for a little bit. So, if they were interested in pursuing growing mussels, or harvesting clams or anything like that, then I would be the person that they would come to and they would talk to. This was in Washington, so they own their own
Okay.
coast, their own shoreline there. So I think those two aspects. And then I think the last one is a little bit more of on the creative side. So I
Mm.
really enjoy creating programs for kids.
Uh-huh.
And so, I want that little component too. So I think it's the kind of the trifecta of things. It's that
Yeah.
inspirational out in the field moment, it's the being part of the community moment, and then it's also kind of that creative aspect. To me, that was like super solid.
So the pivot to the Rice Krispie treats, is your hope to replace the marine biology or to find something in addition to pivot out of where you are into something that continues to give you the chance to work with the organisms and community aspects and things like that with Rice Krispies on the side?
Rice Krispies is actually going to be the mainstay.
Okay.
And so I am saying goodbye to marine biology in the form in which I do it now. So I plan on really kind of focusing my attention with my little guy
Uh-huh.
and really kind of exploring the world of marine biology through his lens, I think is the way.
Mm,
So, if there's ways in which we can family volunteer at a place, obviously it's 3.5, so not yet, but
right.
like, there's lots of ways we can continue to explore, whether it be like going to our local tide pools, just being in the water together. We already kind of explore the ocean anyways together as a
Uh-huh.
family. And so I think just kind of spending more time together with that, really kind of instilling a sense of wonder and respect and stewardship for my little guy with the ocean.
Yeah.
And then just, if there are other opportunities that pop up later on, I may be open to it. Who
Sure.
knows where life will take me? But
Right.
I think right now I'm just going to kind of put that put that put that hat aside and really just kind of move forward with this other super huge interest of mine.
Yeah. So what's your biggest hurdle right now? What is it that you feel like is keeping you from taking the next step and going all in on the Rice Krispies?
Time.
Okay.
I think time is my main hurdle. My work and my family take up so much of my time. And so it's really kind of like inching progress slowly but surely. And so my goal is to really kind of debut my company, probably beginning of April is where what
Okay.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And so it's just really kind of getting everything set in place, and networking in the meantime with all of my colleagues and just kind of see like what opportunities are out there and just kind of really, yeah, getting that all set up.
Okay. So at some point is that the time that you're thinking that you're going to pivot completely out of the 9 to 5 and into let's go all in on making these treats?
Yep, that's correct.
All right. How are you feeling about that?
I'm really excited. There's, of course, part of me that's like, "Ugh, marine biology, but it's not gone forever. And it's
Right.
just in a different form in which I can explore and love and share that, that field. But I'm really excited. I feel like now I can truly invest this time into me, into my family. And it's really just a time to really kind of focus inward in a different way. I feel like when my husband and I were both marine biologists, we would, move every 2 to 3 years, depending upon the opportunities. And yes, that was focused on ourselves, but like I mentioned, within the past handful of years, it really hasn't been, I've put myself completely on the back burner. And so
Right.
to really kind of have that time to reflect on really kind of what I love or what I'm missing, I'm just really excited to take this completely different step, and give it a go.
Yeah. I love that. That's bold. And how's your husband feeling about it? Is he excited, enthusiastic, supportive, apprehensive? Where does he stand?
Yes to all of the above. I would have to.
That's about right.
So yeah, so he's also still navigating his career because he's a little bit early on too.
Okay.
Ideally, if everything worked out in a perfect world, I'd probably be in my position that I'm currently in for another 6 months for a
Okay.
more stable transition. But if I really want to hit the ground running and really kind of time when, folks are really starting to hit the farmers market, it's going to be approximately April or so is when,
Uh-huh.
in theory, there's like a greater amounts of folks going. And so I want to be able to hit that window, and to really just start the ground running. And so I think this is the timing that we need to go. And he's eating Rice Krispies with me. He's being very analytical about it, which I absolutely love. We're drawing on his networks as well to kind of help support and help rally. So I couldn't ask honestly for a more supportive husband.
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
great. So what's your next step? What is it that you're hoping to find or hoping to accomplish or that will help propel you? You've got 3.5 months. What does that look like?
I'm hoping to really kind of solidify all the different components that I need in order to be successful. I've just started this journey maybe about 2 weeks or so that I've come to this realization.
Okay.
And so with that, I already have a mentor who also has her own business.
Fantastic.
So yeah, she's been she's actually my chiropractor, but she's
Nice.
been, a business owner for small business owner for, at least 20 years. And so she's really excited for me and has already provided me with a variety of resources, including financial ones that I can really
Nice.
tap into. And then, Eugene's, my husband's parents he's been really great and supportive and just kind of tapping into his networks, which has been wonderful. I'm waiting to tap into mine because I'll be sending in my letter of resignation in maybe about a month or a little bit less than that or
Uh-huh.
so. And so it's just, then I'll be able to start tapping into my networks a little bit more. And so I think there's just a lot of potential, and I'm already kind of feeling a lot of love and support,
I
and
love it.
folks are really kind of willing to do anything and everything to help me network and to really help me get myself and my brand out there.
That's fantastic. So a couple things just to wrap things up. Number one, you can take an idea or you can take something that's been like on your heart for 10 years, like Rice Krispies. And I've got some people I would love to connect you with as well. Um, and go all in on that, even though it's not necessarily the same direction as what you've been believing you were destined for since age 7.
Yeah.
And then believe in yourself. Having a supportive network is really crucial. If you're married, partner, really important, friends, family, etc. And one of the things that I hear a lot of times in my comments is that, well, there are no opportunities. Yeah, there are. There are opportunities. And if you can have your creativity uh, showing up in different types of Rice Krispies, that's that's not just a farmer's market business. That could be an online business. It could be something you could ship those easily anywhere. And
Yeah.
there are great opportunities if you are willing to just be open to them. So I'm excited for you. This is going to be fun,
Yeah.
and I would love to try the Dreamsicle orange crispy or Rice Krispie treat. I think that'd be
Yes.
good, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank
So
you. As am I.
thanks so much. As you get things established and things like that, social media presence, let me know, and I'll share with my audience as well. Um, but thanks for being courageous. Thanks for being bold enough to come and talk about your journey. Being in the middle of it sometimes is really hard because you don't know what it's supposed to look like because you're building something completely new.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've actually already started my social media presence.
Okay.
So it's pretty exciting if folks are interested in following and just kind of, just pressing that follow and just waiting till I'm able to post more.
Yeah,
Folks can find me on Instagram at Crispy Comfort Co. And yeah, we'd love to be able to get audiences from all over and definitely
cool.
open to eventually shipping them around. But in the meantime, they can find me at Orange County Farmers Markets.
I love it.
Mhm.
Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing where you are in your journey and the I think there's some great insights that you shared on how it's possible to have more of what you want. You don't have to just settle for mediocre.
Absolutely, yes.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jen. And I'll put a link to the Instagram in the show notes as well so people can find you there.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to y'all next week.